Good morning, seventh grade. Hopefully, by now, should have already read the verses from Ezekiel, and then you also should have watched that video. It was a pretty intense and crazy video, but I really liked it because you could actually see what was happening in the story with all those bones coming back together. If you have not watched those or read that, please do that before you go on to this video because it won't really make sense. Okay? So go back and do those and then fill out the Google Doc questions and then come here. But yeah, I wanted to do just a brief devotional to kind of zoom in on a few of the verses that you read earlier. Okay. Like I said in the assignment, so we're finally getting to Ezekiel's words of hope, the hope that he's given the people. And it's important to remember with these words of hope that Israel was in exile. Now, hopefully, you already remember what that means, but in case you don't, I'll remind you. Exile means you're kicked out of your land. Okay. Another country, another nation basically kicks you out of your land. They conquer you and they defeat you in war. And so because of that, you no longer have really a home. And so the people of Israel are without a real home right now. And so they do really need some words of hope. And so, like I said, I want to look in at a few of those verses just to show the hope that Ezekiel really gives. So here's what it says. Then he said to me, Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. They say, Our bones are dried up, and our hope is gone. We are cut off. They were feeling hopeless because they didn't have their land, right? Their hope has dried up. And the reality is for you, it might also be the case that some of your hope has dried up. It might be because of this virus that you are wondering, what's going on? Why is this? And you're beginning to feel a bit hopeless, like that has dried up. There could be other situations in your life, whether with family members or friends, that you've lost hope. And again, you just feel completely dry. And so this was the case for the people of Israel back then, but it's the case for us now too, that sometimes we feel really hopeless. So now let's see what Ezekiel says from there. So God tells Ezekiel, Therefore prophesy and say to them, This is what the sovereign Lord says. My people, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them. I will bring you back to the land of Israel. So what God's saying here is that he's actually going to bring them back to life. The same way that those bones started reconnecting and they rose up into new life, that's actually what God is saying he's going to do for us. And now, this is the good news. So God sent Jesus, and Jesus rose back from the dead, right? And because of that, we also get to do this. Now, it's kind of weird and creepy to think about every once in a while, right? Like that bones are going to reconnect and suddenly they're going to come back to life. But it means that we get eternal life, that we don't need to be scared of death anymore because we are going to live with God forever. And so here's how Ezekiel continues on from there. It says, Then you, my people, will know that I am the Lord when I open your graves and bring you up from them. I will put my spirit in you and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord. So the two promises that God gives are, number one, that he's going to give his spirit to the people, that he's going to place his spirit within them. Then the second one is that he's going to settle them in their own land. And so remember, right, they're homeless. They have been kicked out of their land. So the news that they're going to have their own land again is such good news. And the fact is that God is going to be with them in that land. And that's the case for us too. Right now, Jesus is no longer with us, right? He's gone to be with the Father. And the good news is that he has left his spirit within us to give us that new life already today, just like Ezekiel was talking about. But there's also going to be a day where Jesus does come again, and we get to be with him. We get to dine with him at his table. We get to walk with him. And that's going to be such a great, great day. And so the reality is, if you are feeling hopeless, if you're feeling like your bones are pretty dry, I hope and pray that you know that God is going to give you new life, that by his Spirit, he's going to raise you up, and he's going to be with us one day. Even if we can't see it right now, even if with all of this virus, it seems like there's just a lot of death and a lot of sadness and a lot of things like that, There is going to be a day where God comes back. He will be with us once and for all. And I cannot wait for that day. Okay. Now, to finish your assignment, I do have a video for you. It's probably a song that most of you have heard if you've been in chapel. And it's really relates really well to this story because it's all about bringing life out of dry bones and prophesying life in the midst of a lot of death. Okay? So I hope the song blesses you. And then just go ahead and fill out the questions and submit your Google Doc. Have a wonderful rest of your day, 7th grade.